Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, Straight Game TV, platinum artist, platinum songwriter. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button or the bell notification if you want to be one of the first people to be notified when I drop some of this straight game. I'm going to get right into it. This question right here comes from a sister from Columbia, South Carolina. And the question is if Tupac had better security when he was in Las Vegas, do you think that he would have survived or even been able to be accessible to be shot while riding in the car with Suge? Wow. That's like a Monday morning quarterback question, you know, from the sister from Columbia, South Carolina. That's a Monday morning quarterback question. But I can tell you this. What I understand is, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, you know, when you have a top tier, high level client with any kind of security, and you're working the security detail, you know, they are always priority number one. I don't know what kind of security protocol was going on that night in Las Vegas. I don't know what they were thinking. What it appeared to me was this: if you think about you coming from the fight, go back into the fight, right? Because there is footage of Tupac and Suge walking side by side through the MGM Grand, and they're basically walking together. Now, when you understand that, I don't know what that is, but once again, you don't see that's not really normal. You know, what we come to understand later is Suge was acting as Tupac's manager, and he was the actual CEO of Death Row Records. So the situation in itself was a conflict of interest. You know, just from that perspective alone. Normally, when you have a situation dealing with an artist, right, they have their manager. The manager doesn't usually travel with you like that. You have a road manager who usually travels with you from that perspective. And the manager usually sits back, you know, at whatever location, be it New York, California, Atlanta, and so on and so forth. And he basically handles the business, if you will. So when you understand that, that's the first thing that was kind of skewed and off, if you ask me, when I delve into, you know, how this thing really actually works. And so from that perspective, that's the first thing. So Tupac wouldn't have normally actually been with Suge, even though he was his manager, right? But for whatever reason, that was so. And so now you get into, okay, you know, we get into this altercation, this situation, you know, they see Orlando Anderson, you get into this altercation. Number two, and I've said it before, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Tupac was not supposed to be rolling around on the ground of any hotel carpet, hard floor, or none of the other things that you can think about fighting anybody. Right? When he was moving through the MGM Grand, if you seen when they left out of the hotel, how he was basically, Tupac led the pack. Suge was running behind him. You know what I mean? And it's like, where was security? Where was security? He wasn't supposed to be able to move. You wasn't supposed to be able to get within 3 feet of Tupac at that particular time. that night, right? So evidently there was a false sense of security and a comfortability that Tupac had felt in, any kind of protocol. It wasn't really being followed. These are facts. I mean, you can see that. So when you delve into that, so now I'm going to give you this and basically check this out. It says Tupac went to his hotel briefly, then rejoined the others about 2 hours after the fight, after the initial fight. And so they were on their way to Knight's Club in a long convoy of cars. Afeni Shakur says that Kidada Jones told her, who was in Las Vegas at that night with Tupac, told her that Tupac wanted to drive his Hummer, which is akin to a combat vehicle, but Suge Knight insisted that they had things to discuss. He prevailed upon Tupac to ride with him. We all know Knight drove the black BMW and Tupac rode in the front passenger seat with the window down. A former death row bodyguard had said basically that the situation was adherent. Ordinarily, an armed bodyguard would have been riding with them, and additional armed bodyguards would follow in the car behind. This night, however, Knight and Tupac rode alone. The outlaws were in the car behind them with the bodyguard who was unarmed. Now, these are facts. Now, I don't know why that took place like that. Why, the bodyguard, I believe that what she was talking about was Frank Alexander. I don't know why Frank Alexander didn't have a gun. You know what I mean? And if you can chime in, you can tell me, why wouldn't he have a gun that night? Or like I said, and I had heard that some of the guys that were riding along with the caravan, after Tupac had been shot, had gave chase and was shooting at the car that had the bullets had come out of and shot Tupac. Like I said, once again, I don't know how true that is, but that's the prevailing conversation that's been going on for years. So when you think about all of these things in totality, I must say that there was a major lapse in security protocol and the things that needed to take place in order to keep Tupac safe that night. And that breaks down in the beginning to when Tupac went back to his hotel room, understanding what had just happened. It should have been requested or almost insisted that Tupac, you need to put your vest on. You need to wear a bulletproof vest. You know what I mean? This is just a precaution, and this is how we're gonna move like this. So like I said, I don't really know what that was and why that was. And then once again, coming to my attention, Kidada Jones, Quincy Jones' daughter, basically saying that, Tupac wanted to drive his Hummer, you know what I mean, which was a little bit more of a stout vehicle, used in military combat. I'm sure they have the vehicles used for the military, basically fortified with some kind of bulletproof paneling or something like that. But like I said, so yeah, I believe that if the right security protocol was followed at that particular time, I believe this is the thing that I believe. I believe Tupac would have definitely never been shot. He wouldn't even have been, because they wouldn't have been able to ascertain what vehicle he was in. Like I said, he would have been protected by a bulletproof vest. So all of these extra layers of security, for your top $100 million earning artist. Like I said, up until that point, Tupac had sold $60 million worth of music. There was no way on God's green earth that I'm letting anybody near him. You know what I mean? He at that particular time was the cash cow. So like I said, the situation started off with a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Management and CEO of the label, we hanging out. No, we not hanging out. You know, like I said, even if you my manager, I'm not hanging with you. We not riding together. We gonna ride in different vehicles. I'm riding, you know, with security. I'm letting security, basically, you know, give me the guidance and surveilling what's going on. You know, and if you see any major celebrity, you know, you can go on down the line. You know, any major celebrity when they're moving, you know, they're moving with heavy security. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes off-duty police officers. You know, ex-military people, you know, private security firms and things like that. So like I said, once again, there was a lapse in security in the thought process that and the things that needed to take place that night in Las Vegas. So to the brother from to the sister from Charleston, South Carolina, it's a sad thing. You know, when you deal with those facts. So yeah, I truly honestly believe that, you know, it's kind of like a Monday morning quarterbacking move. You know, it coulda, woulda, shoulda happened. But like I said, once again, you can honestly say that in a lot of situations that we've seen, you know, having, you know, the right protection, the right security, you know, being a high profile individual, it's always been a situation that has worked. You know, if you remember when Ronald Reagan got shot, you know what I mean? The reason why Ronald Reagan survived was because he had adequate security around him, that the guy jumped in front of the way one of the actual security guys even caught a bullet. You know what I mean? But Ronald Reagan survived. So when you deal with situations like that, it's that same thing. You know, Tupac was the type of guy, he was the number one guy in the music industry at that time. You know, had sold, other than Alanis Morissette, Tupac was the number one selling artist at that particular time. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, he should have been guarded once again, like the president or like the Pope, you know, unfortunate, you know, but like I said, you know, it is what it is. And like I say, may he rest in peace. Like I say, and this is another thing. When you're in the MGM Grand, a lot of celebrities, they don't even walk through the hotel. They don't even walk back to the hotel to get their car. A lot of celebrities, they have a back tunnel, a back door that you can walk out of that won't be where everybody else is walking to. You won't be able to do that. And like I said, I've been to fights. If you look back here on the wall, you'll see the Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather you know, shirt and ticket and the whole 9 yards that I, you know, framed, and, you know, because it was a beautiful fight. I thought so anyway. You know, there's a way that you go out where you don't have to deal with all of that. And so that was another thing when you think about, like I said, once again, the security protocol on how we're going to move, right? Yeah, if that would have happened differently, Tupac would have still been here. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.